Have you ever heard of the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure? For Advanced Disposal, the company that operates the waste transfer station on Church Street, that treasure can amount to almost $1.6 billion in profits a year.
I'm really learning that garbage is really big business, and that's all over the world. They make a ton of money.
But what happens when that so-called treasure ends up in your backyard?
Corporations or businesses, the ones where they don't want certain rules because that's going to cost them money. And it costs us our lives, our health.
Residents have been pleading with local government to dump the dump on Church Street for years. With other locals in Church Street Village, longtime Evanston resident Cindy Levitt lives right next to the station.
Sometimes when I'm out here in my little garden, I have to go inside because the smell or the chemicals that they use to mask the garbage smell cause an allergic reaction to where my chemical sensitivity allergies kick in, and I have to go inside.
Across the street from the station, there's a park, and down the street, Evanston Township High School.
We have a lot of families with children who live here at Church Street Village, and I worry more about their health than my own, even as far as what they're breathing in and how it's affecting us.
There are rules that prevent waste transfer stations from being close to parks and residences, but those came after the station was already there.
So the waste transfer station, when the new permitting rules were put in place, was not required to change its operations.
Janet Alexander Davis is also a lifelong Evanston resident.
Well, hi, I'm Janet Alexander Davis. I am a resident of the 5th Ward. I was born and raised in Evanston.
Janet is a part of Evanston Neighbors United, a group of residents that started trying to get the waste transfer station removed almost 13 years ago.
We were ones that began to meet and talk about how can we get rid of it.
They organized pickets against the station, one of which forced the operations to close for the day.
I was, talking to somebody there. I don't know. Anyway.
Do you remember this day?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do remember. I do remember that day. One of the articles shows us there at right in front of the property, and there was quite a few of us picketing.
Even though they've been fighting the station for years, it remains right where it was.
Why should that happen to us? We don't have, say, a grocery store in walking distance. We don't have just the same kinds of businesses that other communities have. And really, I don't see a whole lot that has been done west of Ridge Avenue in the 5th Ward for 50 years, not really.
So what's the holdup?
I'd say the city leadership did not have an appetite, did not encourage me to pursue any of these other options, and so we did not.
Some aldermen have and are currently trying to advocate for their residents.
Well, each alderman that has been in office really, I think, has done what they could to change the things they could at the time.
But the last update from the city came 3 years ago, in 2020, when they published a letter about the station from the Environmental Protection Agency.
I think personally, now as no longer a city staff person, I think the city had a lot of tools it did not use that it could have and still could use to put pressure on the station, make that location particularly unattractive from a business standpoint.
Evanston hired RHP Risk Management to conduct an air quality study for the area around the station in 2019. The study found that nitric oxide and formaldehyde were the pollutants most likely to have come from the station. The pollutants can cause irritation to the eyes, skin, or throat. Formaldehyde can also cause cancer.
But unfortunately, the city just chose not to continue putting money into investigating what the repercussions are of breathing that air.
The EPA did review the study, but they didn't come to a conclusion on the formaldehyde's impact because of the air quality monitors used in the study. For the nitric oxide, they found that it was not higher than the national limit. But laws and policies aren't always in the best interests of the people.
I think that there are many laws and policies that come up short in terms of protecting residents against the negative impacts of waste transfer stations and other polluting industry.
And communities don't always have resources like lawyers to show the government what's wrong.
Those structural aspects of the law that make it difficult for anyone to engage, any community to influence the outcome of these processes, fall disproportionately hard on communities with fewer resources and fewer access and less access to power.
With little progress made, the fight against the waste transfer station only draws longer.
New people moving in don't necessarily know what's going on, and I know some of my neighbors have said, what is that next door?
While the fight has been about showing the potential health consequences of the station, Jensen suggests there might be more success focusing on the business side. The transfer station is a private business, so the city can't just kick them out. The city could buy the land, but that would come from taxpayer dollars and would cost a fortune. But there are ways Evanston could make the location less desirable to the business.
The city could could pass other rules, again, being very careful not to target this facility. And if the facility was found to be out of compliance with local laws or local codes or, safety or fire hazards or things like that, then the city would have the legal basis to shut down the facility.
Residents imagine replacements for the station, a future that finds ways for the land to help the community, not hurt it.
And when they're closed, when there's no noise, it's really nice because then you can hear the birds singing and, summertime. Most of them are heading south, I guess, now. But even in the winter, when it snows, it's pretty.
Maybe that property will end up being sold and homes may be built in the area because it's quite a bit of land.
As time ticks on and the original activists against the station get older and busier, Janet encourages folks to still participate in their community.
Vote, 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 and vote some more, especially if you're young. As long as you have the right to vote, you should choose what you want to see because you will be living with the laws that we make every single day. Can you live with the laws that are being made now?